In 2017, Jacob almost did the thing that would have ruined everything. His account had grown to over $400,000, and his best friend was screaming at him to dump all of it into crypto before it went to the moon. Jacob's finger was literally on the sell button. Instead, he did nothing. He kept buying 10 boring dividend stocks, $50 at a time, like he had every month since the year 2000. Today, that boring account is worth nearly $1 million and pays him over $21,000 a year, without him ever lifting a finger. Here's the full story. Let's rewind. It's January 2000. Jacob is 28 years old, working in a warehouse, lifting boxes for an hourly wage. He's not a finance guy. But he reads one article about Dividend Aristocrats, companies that have raised their dividend every single year for decades, and he makes a quiet decision. Every month, $500 split across 10 of them, $50 each. And every dividend those companies pay him gets automatically reinvested to buy more shares. He sets it on autopilot and gets back to work. Over the next 25 years, Jacob will get married, have twins, and face the single biggest temptation of his investing life. But that automatic 500, it never stops. Here's exactly where Jacob's money went, $50 at a time. The Sherwin-Williams Company, the paint giant. Illinois Tool Works, W.W. Grainger, the industrial supply powerhouse. T. Rowe Price, the asset manager. Here's the magic. Every dividend Jacob's 10 companies pay him automatically buys more shares, and those shares pay dividends too. More shares, more dividends, more shares again. It's a snowball, the same $500 doing more work every single year. Aflac, the insurer with the duck, air products and chemicals. Becton, Dickinson, medical devices. Kimberly-Clark, maker of Kleenex and Huggies. Genuine Parts, the auto parts distributor behind Napa. And Hormel Foods, paint, tools, insurance, hospital supplies, tissues, car parts, groceries, nothing flashy. And that's exactly the point. These companies sell things businesses and families need no matter what the economy's doing. The first few years are almost comically slow. In the year 2000, his $600 a year into each company buys tiny amounts. A few shares of Grainger here, a sliver of Sherwin-Williams there. By the end of 2003, his whole account is worth around $28,000. It's not exciting. But the dividends are doing invisible work. Every quarter, these companies pay him cash, and that cash automatically buys more shares. In year one, his dividends are basically nothing. By 2007, they're handing him over $1,500 a year, buying dozens of extra shares he never paid for. After 8 years, Jacob has invested $48,000 of his own dollars, and the account has grown to around $87,000. Slow, boring, working. Then 2008 hits. The financial crisis tears the market apart. Jacob watches his account drop hard, and his warehouse buddies are panic selling everything they own. But here's what Jacob understood that they didn't. When prices crash, his same $500 buys more shares, and his reinvested dividends scoop them up at fire sale prices too. Throughout 2009, he's quietly buying Grainger, Sherwin-Williams, and Becton Dickinson at steep discounts. Every cheap share he grabs near the bottom becomes a dividend-paying machine for the next 16 years. He didn't lose in 2008. He went shopping. While the market claws back, Jacob's real life takes off. At 32, he gets married. A year later, surprise, twins. 2 cribs, double the diapers, double the daycare, and a budget stretched to the absolute limit. There were months it would have been so easy to pause the investing just for a while, but Jacob had automated it years ago, so he never had to make that choice. The money left his account before he could touch it, and because it kept compounding straight through the most expensive years of his life, the snowball never stopped rolling. By 2010, despite the crash and the twins, His account has grown to around $120,000, and by 2013 it has crossed $246,000. Now we get to the moment from the start. It's 2017. Crypto is everywhere. Jacob's account has quietly grown to around $416,000, and his oldest friend is up huge, texting him daily, "Sell the boring stocks, put it all in, you're going to miss the biggest wealth transfer in history." Jacob genuinely considers it. He opens the app. His finger hovers over the sell button on 17 years of patient investing. $400,000, one click from gone, and then he closes it. He thinks about Sherwin-Williams raising its dividend again, about Granger's checks that show up whether crypto is up or down. He doesn't sell a single share. He just keeps buying his 10 companies. That one decision for to do nothing quietly protects everything he'd built. From 2017 on, the compounding gets loud. His 10 companies are now throwing off serious dividends, many thousands of dollars a year, all reinvesting, all buying more shares automatically. Sherwin-Williams becomes a monster. Granger climbs past $1,000 a share. By the end of 2019, his account has reached over $580,000. Then, March 2020. The pandemic crashes the market in weeks, and Jacob's portfolio drops by roughly a quarter, well over $100,000 on paper. But by now, he's a 20-year veteran. He doesn't flinch, doesn't sell, and his automatic 500 keeps buying right before the rebound. By year-end 2020, the account isn't just recovered. It's pushed past $660,000. Now it's today. Over 25 years, from 2000 to 2024, Jacob invested exactly $150,000 of his own money, $500 a month, never more. So what is it worth? Approximately $998,000, just shy of $1 million. That's over $840,000 of pure growth he never deposited, more than 6.5 times every dollar he put in. And here's the share count he built, $50 at a time, roughly 778 shares of Sherwin-Williams, 344 of Illinois Tool Works, 189 of W.W. Granger, 484 of T. Rowe Price, 524 of A-Flas, 280 of Air Products, 621 of Becton Dickinson, 336 of Kimberly-Clark, 475 of Genuine Parts, and nearly 2,500 shares of Hormel, all from a warehouse worker's paycheck. But the value isn't even the best part. These are Dividend Aristocrats. They pay him to own them. Today, Jacob's 10 companies pay him about $21,500 a year in dividends. That's roughly $1,800 every single month, landing in his account whether he works or not. His Hormel shares alone pay nearly $3,000 a year, his Becton Dickinson over $2,600, his T. Rowe Price over $2,500. Look at the journey. Basically nothing his first year, about $1,500 by 2007, $6,700 by 2015, and over $21,000 today. And here's the kicker. That's a 14% yield on every dollar he originally invested. If Jacob stopped investing right now, those dividends would keep growing on their own. Meanwhile, his friend who went all in on crypto, let's just say Jacob sleeps very well at night. Jacob didn't time the market. He didn't pick the next big thing. He just started early, stayed boring, and resisted the one temptation that wrecks most investors. Subscribe, because next time we follow Chloe, a college dropout everyone underestimated, who quietly out-invested every single one of her university graduate friends. You won't believe the gap. That's next. I'll see you there.